We're here with Mayor Brian Barnett of Rochester Hills, Michigan, here at South by Southwest. Is this your first South by?
It is absolutely, and man, what a show, what an organization! It's pretty overwhelming.
And what are you hoping to take away from your time here?
I love innovation. I love the topic. I love innovative people, and so I'm hoping to meet a lot of interesting people with crazy ideas and see what we can find that's applicable back to my city, Rochester Hills, and hopefully take some things back home.
All right. And you've been mayor for about 10 years now, is that right?
Yeah, I have. When I was elected, I was the youngest mayor in the country. I have a city over 50,000 people, and then I've flipped the script, and now I'm the longest serving mayor in my city. So I've been doing this for a while, and I absolutely love it.
All right. And I was actually interviewing Mayor Garcia, who's one of the mayors on the younger side here. You have any advice for younger mayors?
Get involved. I think local elections, public service is just absolutely fantastic. It's a way to give back to your community. A lot of people think, well, I'll have a career, I'll have a family, and then I'll start to give back. But giving back in local government and getting involved, people need to hear from millennials because it's a really important part of and a really important voice that's missing in a lot of the discussions.
So one of the things that interested me about reading about Rochester Hills is that you guys are kind of like the robots and advanced manufacturing capital of the United States. More robots come out of Rochester Hills, Michigan than anywhere else in the U.S. How does that change your perspective on manufacturing in the United States and what's in the future?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for knowing that because that means our marketing is working. That's what we want people to know about Rochester Hills. But well, it puts a lot of pressure on our team because if we have an innovative constituency, we have to make sure we have an innovative government that's matching our constituency. And so when we look at what's happening, this futuristic stuff, in Metro Detroit, we got to look at the auto industry, and we're looking at the autonomous vehicles and how that's going to change. And from a municipal standpoint, how do we train our students? What are the skill sets that they're going to need to maybe not so much work in a plant that we're used to, but working in all these new fields, these technology fields that are going to be where automobility and mobility is moving in the future. So it's a big thing for our city. From the robotics companies that are leading the industry around the world, we're trying to take those practical applications and see what we can do in local government to match the innovative nature of our constituency.
So now a broader Michigan question. We had an article a little while back on some of the laws around managerial laws there, and I also noticed that Governor Snyder a few times has talked about his concern about liability at the local level. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, fortunately, our city's may sound selfishly saying this, but has been well run long before I was there, and so we've never looked at any kind of state-appointed management. We're one of the top 5% of communities in Michigan for financial strength. But in the recession, in the heat of the recession, there was some very challenged school districts and cities, and something needed to be done in order to right those ships. And we saw it happen in Detroit, saw it happen in Flint, saw it happen in a lot of places. Were there mistakes made along the way? There were, but I think we learned a lot through that process, and now that the economy's been healthy for 5 or 6 years, most of these municipalities are on much better and much stronger footing because of some of those actions.
So, quick question. I believe you're a part of a delegation of mayors who are down in D.C. recently. I know you met with some folks in the administration, including EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt. What did you take away from your trip there?
Yeah, that was a really interesting trip. I had the very unusual back-to-back meetings with Nancy Pelosi and Betsy DeVos, so I equally angered both sides of my Facebook universe with that post. But it's really a time of transition. I think a lot of people are still not exactly sure what the Trump administration is going to do and what that's going to look like for cities. There are certain things that we all are advocating for. You can leave a lot of the partisanship behind when you're talking about infrastructure and public safety. And so I think we rally as a conference of mayors around those specific items. But I think there's a lot of good intention, and I think the one message that I take that I hear strongly is that they want to give more power to the states and the cities. That's good from a mayor's perspective. But then there's always the funding questions about how that actually plays out on my main street. That is what I'm really interested in seeing as things move forward.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I also appreciate your strong pocket square game there, and look forward
it's pocket
to
square and sock game. You gotta and look at your shoes. Those are solid shoes.
There we go.
Man.
We got serious,
Look at that.
serious sock game there too. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
No problem. Nice to
Appreciate
see
it.
you.